Sharper scissors. Oh, hey, how's it going? So, I guess since somebody's here, I'll go ahead and show you what's going on here. This is a 3-foot Molduga. The other night I put its forelimbs on, added some flesh, got it nice and, let's get a better look at that. Some nice fleshy wrinkles and crinkles. He's to the scale of an Amiibo doll, figure, whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, he's getting there, getting there. Right now I'm just touching up, fixing the front comb to match what's in the game, and beefing up the skin. Oops, looks like there was an accident there. Uh-oh. That's no good. Let's fix that. And what I'm using is foam clay, which is fortunately kind of forgivable, or forgiving, I should say, with mistakes if you make them early on. But once it starts drying, you're kind of, you're in that, well, do I peel it off or start over or what? And sometimes you have to start over. You just yank all the skin off, just rip it off and start over. But yeah, so I kind of built up a little bit of the underside of his front of his mouth, this sort of area here. And then I'm going to start carving the ridges in. A lot of the rocky texture that goes on the jawline, the inside of the mouth, and then the big fat tongue, and then the lower jaw, which kind of extends out this way. So there's going to be a little bit more here with some gum line and some rocks. And if it looks like his arms and his little legs don't quite reach, if you're familiar with the video game, you will note that that is accurate. He's got pathetically small, almost notoriously small arms and legs for the size of his body. Yeah. So here we got some more stuff that probably is going to have to get fixed later. But yeah. So right now, I'm just kind of trying to fill in all the gaps for his tail. And it doesn't have to be pretty. It's just kind of filler that I can put foam over, or maybe some like fill in with foam clay, build it out, right there. There you go. Like and subscribe. Whatever that means. All right, let's flip him back over. Get back to work on that. Enough funny business. Don't know who's here, but hello. Oh, Morgan. Hey, what's up? Who else is here? Molduga, yeah. All right, just for you, Esram, if you're still here. I don't know who's here, actually. But I can't tell. So here's where we're at. We got 4 legs. We got some skin. We're starting to build up some of that fatty tissue. The subcutaneous fat, as they say. There's the eyes. Building up this a little bit more. I had to rearrange his jawline because that was wrong. Just added this little ridge in the front to kind of give it more of a look of the... There's some more muscle tissue and fat. Another leg. And right now, I'm just filling this all in with, bits and pieces of this and that just to have a structure to put the putty over. And then I'm going to cover this up with more foam clay and fill all this out. And I'm going to do this right now, and then I'm just going to call it a night. But that's where he's at right now. Quite a large fellow, as you can see. There he is, in all his gigantic splendor. Yeah. It's like, kind of like doing a flight of the Death Star, right? Let me show you. And what I mean by that, let's just have some fun here while I got somebody on. We're gonna do this. Let's say this is a spaceship. Using my classic hold it from a stick method. Or maybe coming the other direction, like, oh my God, what is that? Look out! Yeah, it's big. He's a big one. He's a big one. Let's make sure I didn't mess up that putty underneath. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It'll work. It's all good. It is, as they say, all good. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. I'll put this over here. And, I got to flip this around, actually. I still got to make these fins about 1.5 inches bigger, or inch bigger, rather. About an inch. I'd say about an inch if I'm playing it safe. All right. Let's see here. Where's all the missing stuff? I think it's on the other side, actually. I think it's right here. There it is. This is my trouble section I need to work on right here. Let's get some light on that. And I'm really cheating. Not that I'm cheating. I mean, this isn't like a structurally sound, dependent area. I mean, unless the kid's holding it like a baseball bat, in which case it already is. It already has quite a bit of structure to it. But I'm really just filling in all that area with bits of foam, because I don't like to waste pieces if I can avoid it. So I'm using a lot of scrap foam that I'm gluing together with super glue and just holding it in place. You know what I mean? Not a mean jelly bean. No to mean jelly bean. Let's see. No offense to jelly beans out there. That's just how they talk. That's how jelly beans talk. All right. All right. All right. All right. Looking great. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm not able to really comment too much because I can't see the camera, using my phone as it is. As it were. So we're just piecing pieces in here. Pretty much. That's pretty much it. I guess where I can kind of spare the piece to fill it out a bit more. I don't know. You know what? I could probably do a bunch of these little rib cagey type things. Yeah, let's do that. It'll fill it out quicker than just stacking it. I don't know how I get talked into building these things. I enjoy it. I'm not going to lie. I actually enjoy doing it. I don't have a ton of time to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've seen a show from or a YouTube channel from a guy named Crafty Rick. I was just texting him today. He's really into Fallout, and apparently they did it. They made a Fallout show. It looks pretty badass, actually. I gotta hand it to him. Hopefully, it's better than that Rings of Power show they made, which I don't know how that thing got a bunch of awards. Clearly, from people who don't understand what a good show is, but whatever. That one looks pretty slick. Oh, an X-Acto knife with a blade in it. Just landed on the floor and I'm barefoot. Well, not barefoot, but I'm wearing flippy floppies in my garage. Don't do it. No. Yeah, that could have been dangerous. That's why you should always wear closed-toe shoes in a shop environment, ladies and gentlemen. If you felt me blowing in your ear, you can take that as a compliment. This is the quick and easy method of filling in stuff. Who just joined us? Some late bloomer? I don't know. It says I got 2 people watching. If you're not already subscribed, which I highly doubt that you're not if you're watching this, because otherwise how would you even know about me? The YouTube algorithm apparently hates my face, even though I don't show it. That's right. However, if you're new here, welcome. Though I doubt it. Perhaps you'd like to peruse one of my 180 videos where I build things like this. Yes, I'm not joking. I said 180. I think there's more, possibly. Welcome. Willkommen. Hola. Bienvenidos. Benvenuto. Aloha. Domo. Hey, where'd that come from? Oh, cool. Found another piece. Found another piece of filler. There's anything I like better than non-filler? It's filler. Not in my beers, though. Not in my beers. Yep. I'm one of those rare folks whose exes all do live in Texas. Fun fact. Oh, okay. Let's scrape some of this around. Let's put some of that down there. And then put some of it back on it again. I want to get this done quick, you see. Only way to do things fast is to do them fast. Little life lesson you can take with you. One of my many snippets of wisdom. Yes. Thumbs up. Nobody's thumbs up. I got 3 people that are supposed to be my friends that have shown up. Not one of them thumbs up my video. That's okay. No one's even going to see this one because most of the live stuff just goes straight into private mode afterwards. That's not me. That's YouTube. I have to turn it to public later, but you know, honestly, besides the one I just did the other day, I'm really not going to do that. I would rather show more finished work, though that's becoming more and more difficult when I've got giant 3 feet Moldugas. But yeah. Oh my God! I don't know who you are, but you're an angel. Thank you so much for thumbs-upping me. If you have to thumbs me down for that, I won't hold it against you. And for the terrible accent. But I'm all about terrible accents. Yep. Not just on Latin languages. Fresh EVA. Oh, yes. We use only the finest, freshest, smoothest EVA foam. Brought to you from Amazon. I don't get any money from Amazon, so it's you get to hear my dulcet tones for free. Yeah, so there's that. If you don't know what that means, look it up in a dictionary. It's those things they used to use to tell you how to speak the words of the people you are from. Or something like that, right? Something to that effect. Tell them, number 1, slice. Nothing so jarring as the last time when I drilled off or cut off a face. What was it I was drilling the face off of or cutting the face off of? It wasn't the Molduga, it was something else. I want to say, I think it was the Anzelin. Yeah, man, that's one I'd like to get back to. I'd like to hurry up and finish that sucker. But, you know, big giant projects like this get in the way. That's just how it is, folks. That's just how it is. Is this going to be good enough? I'm going to have to slice that kind of at a weird angle. Maybe I'll just do a little piece here and just kind of wedge it in. And just kind of, yeah. We'll put it in like that and then cut that, yeah. Like I'm actually trying to make sense of it. It's funny, isn't it? Like there's any kind of plan. There's no plan. Yeah. If you don't like the accents, better leave now. They only get worse the later it gets. And I'm not even drinking. Whoa, I'm laughing at myself because it's true. All right. That's delicious. Oh my gosh. You see the way that all worked out? That was delicious. All right. Take some of this funny white powder, you. I hear it makes things hard. If you're not familiar with this technique, you put baking soda or some other accelerant. It's not really accelerant. I think what it does is it just kind of immediately locks all the glue and the cyanoacrylate together. You know, I've seen people use salt. I think I've used salt before, but baking soda seems to be the fan favorite for the kids these days. I think I can just do one layer like that. Maybe cut that off. We'll just put that in to raise it a little bit and then slice that smooth. That's the theory. We're sticking to it. A little more glue. We'll glue this way, because why not? Okay. And then we'll use the extremely sharp razor blade to perform the most delicate of surgeries. Slice, 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 slice. Let's go all the way across just to make it a smooth transition. I think that's pretty good. We just need to wedge in some more bits so there's a minimal amount of gaps for the putty to fill in, because that stuff's expensive compared to the foam. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, I'm not made of money either. I'm just a poor hobbyist on YouTube, just making his way any way he knows how. But someday I'll move on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. All right. No, I was not a latchkey child. Yes, I was. It's true. Telling. It's telling. All right. I think we're good. Maybe just a little bit more gap filling over here. And then I think we can start putting some putty down, at least a little bit, to kind of get the ball rolling, so to speak. Man, that's firm. Okay. All right. Let's back this out a little bit so you can see what's going on. So you can see the deliciousness that is my workspace. Yeah, let's put this guy over here. Opposite the dawn. Opposite the dawn. And then cover this up here. Cover. Okay. Okay, chop chop. Let's do this. Let's do the party so Mr. Bots to Beast creator man can put everything away. Too much. Do I have glue on my fingers? I'm like so much goo on my hands, it's spreading to everything. All right. Take a break. All right. Let's putty this bad boy's tail up. This is the section we're going to work on today before we call it an evening. more than I need. At least not one knot. All right. Let's cut this down a little bit. See, there's a method to my madness. Sort of. If I had to describe a Molduga, I would say it's the result of crossing a whale with an iguana with a sandworm from Dune. That's probably about as close as I can get. Or let's say the skill set of a sandworm from Dune. You know, able to swim through sand like it's water, that sort of thing. That kind of looks like a proto-Godzilla or something, I don't know. Any damage down here? Oh, that's some damage. That's got to be fixed. Let's fix that. We'll just smooth it down. We can fix it a little bit better later. This is just a build-up layer anyway. Looks like I got some stuff I can do here. Let's see. If you're interested in sculpting with foam clay and you're used to sculpting with green stuff or regular clay, like oil base or polymer, I'd like to say that this will be a breeze. But what I really need to say is this is nothing like any of those, and forget everything you've learned, because this stuff does not act like any kind of regular clay. It doesn't hold detail well. It's basically like working with Nickelodeon slime. Is Nickelodeon even a thing anymore? I don't know. But some kind of slime as a material, a medium, sculpting medium. Bubble gum comes to mind. Boogers are another one that comes to mind. Yeah, definitely boogery. Let's get this little piece in here. What I'm doing is I'm prepping it with some moisture. In this case, just brushing on some light. You don't want to put too much water. Too much water and it gets like turns into a slurry. You really mess it up. But just enough, and to get enough adhesion to where you're able to get it to stick and move around. Might be too much in that spot, but that's what I'm doing right here. Is I'm just kind of sliding it around. And again, this isn't a finished thing. This is just kind of getting the base down. Once all this is down, I'll put on more and more layers, just like I did with the front and the back. And it's just like a build-up section. But as you can see, if you do it just right, you can kind of get it to do what you want it to. The most difficult thing about this stuff, I'll give it some pros first. Well, I'll do the cons first. The cons are it doesn't handle like any other medium. It's like sculpting with wet boogers, or literally like if you're sculpting with like chopped liver or some kind of fleshy inanimate thing. It's kind of hard to control. But it's a little in large quantities like this, it's kind of harder to smooth out too. It really takes a little bit of patience. The other cons is you're kind of at the will of how quickly it can dry. You can kind of accelerate it a little bit with a heat gun, although I don't recommend it because that might introduce cracking. When you paint it, or if you plan to paint it, I'd recommend sealing it first. And it does not hold detail very well, because if I do this and I put some detail in it, you can see it's already not very receptive to detail. But if I did this and I let this dry by morning, it would look like that. And then if you give it a couple of days, it would look like this. The lines are, maybe the lines would be relatively faint. So not great for that. You really have to plan the way you're going to put the detail in, almost a piece at a time. I have examples of stuff I've done with some detail. I don't have any. Do I have any here? I've got this little guy, which I'm not done yet. I'm not done with him yet, so don't get all weird. This is my Star Wars life-size Anzellan figure I was making. And pretty much the same. This is with gray. So he's not done yet, but so you can get some detail if you're careful and you plan it out. He's got a lot of work left, but when he's done, he's gonna be fun. I'll do a whole video on him. And I do have some finished figures, but I don't think any of them are in this room. But if you look at the video of my Bot Beast, which is my sort of channel mascot model that I made, that's a really good example of getting decent detail. The other thing I did with this, if you look at the video of the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Hinox, he stands about a foot tall. He's got a pretty decent amount of detail on him, and he's already painted. You can kind of tell. I don't have any like video of me sculpting him. It's more like still photos and stuff. But man, can you ever get a good impression off that? See, look, it got squished. You gotta be careful not to. It's very, very mushy and malleable. It doesn't. If you lean it on something, it's gonna ruin whatever smooth thing that you did to it. Yeah, there's lots of cons. So why am I sculpting with this stuff? Well, I'll tell you, despite you needing to really give it 24 hours to dry completely, once it dries, it's sandable. You can cut it up just like regular EVA foam. And there's a lot of advantages to it. For starters, it's super light. EVA foam in general is really, really light. It's just a light material. It's full of air, right? It's got pockets of air in it, which makes it super light. So this is kind of done, at least to my liking. So this whole thing, if you sculpted this, I don't care how much foil, unless you used, blow up balloons and covered that with foil and then heated it. I mean, in other words, that amount, that size of an object, I would not be able to lift like this. It's like barely a pound, not even a pound. And look at the size of this thing. You can't do that with any other material. You just can't. It's also very durable. I mean, it's very durable. Once it's in, it's in. Once this stuff is glued together, it doesn't come apart easy. This is about the equivalent of a giant foam bat. Once it's done drying. I'm fairly, and this is going to go to a 7-year-old boy. Is he 7 or 8? God, I can't remember now. That's not good. But yeah, once this is done, this is going to go to a young boy who likes to play with his toys. He's not going to put them on a shelf like a bunch of middle-aged nerds. No offense if you're one of those. I do it myself. Not really, but what I'm saying is this thing's going to get played with, and it's going to get played with hard. And I've already made a few things out of this stuff that he has used since he was about 6. And they've lasted the last couple of years. And, they've taken a beating. All right, I think we've got the tail in. I think we're at the tail end of this, pun intended. We're at the tail end of this video. So there we go. The tail is filled in. I know it's not pretty. Don't worry. We'll make it pretty for everybody. But yeah. Yeah. So what's left to do? So much. This is going to be a Christmas present. So obviously, probably a little bit behind. So I just fixed this to give it more of that. He's got to get a tongue, jawline, all his warts and scales. This is going to be taller and cylindrical. These are anyway more bone-like. Same thing here. They're going to get, fixed covered with foam at some point. But yeah, all this stuff is going to get some nice fleshy bits, just like I did here. You can tell there's a little bit more. See, this is more organic now, right? The rest of him is going to look like that too. And again, this is just the base. So once this all gets covered up with these nice fleshy mounds of deliciousness, he's going to get covered with his texture. And then I'm going to put, I like to use something called Flex Seal, or I'm sorry, Cause Flex is the one I'm using. Let me see if I can set him down for a little bit. This one here. This is what I'm using. Let's move this out of the way. You can't know my secret identity. So I'm using this stuff. And what I do is I take this material. Oh, yeah. Don't worry, buddy. I work fast. I know I say that even though it's been, this is like a 2-year project. I just need time. Mainly, the way I'm going to get it done is I'm off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's 5 days. And that's where the majority of the magic's going to happen. So if you like to watch me build this thing live, I don't have a schedule, buddies. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to put your alerts on. But yeah, anyway, what I was saying, so I'll be basically those whole 5 days I'll be working on this thing on and off, on and off. You take this Cause Flex, if you want to mix it with some color, I usually just dip some acrylic in there, paint the whole thing one solid color. And what this does is it seals all the foam and puts a nice thick layer of glaze over it, gets it a nice color layer, and it seals the foam, keeps it from drying out and getting too brittle. So it stays flexible and still stays strong. So once this is dry, then I put a primer coat with the airbrush. I'm going to airbrush everything down, and he'll have all his warts and scales and all that jazz. And yeah, be done by then. Another thumbs up would be good if you got it. But, you know, it's cool. If you don't, it's cool. It's cool. Hey, Esrom, if you're still there, thanks, man, for coming in and checking it out. I know this has been kind of like your favorite project. I don't know why, for the life of me. Maybe the enormity, the sheer mass, the sheer scale. Okay, I probably shouldn't yell too loud. I'm in the garage, but my wife is trying to sleep. That's what it's like living with a crazy person. Yeah. I mean, it really does. I mean, the more I look at it, it's like, this is, I mean, it's a big iguana, right? They took an iguana. They're like, hey, what will happen if we put an iguana and we made it, we mixed it with a whale, right? It looked like something like that, right? I'm pretty sure Japanese Nintendo developers don't talk like that. But in Japanese, I bet that's how they said it. Smoky smoke. Children, don't engage in any kind of smoky smoke. Great to catch an update. It's nearly starting. Yeah, it is coming. I mean, it is coming together. Go search Molduga if you're not sure and compare your notes against what you're seeing. It's getting there. It's definitely looking like a Molduga. You know? I know he's going to have fun with it. I just hope he doesn't go around hitting people with it. Because, yeah, I build things to last, and I build them pretty sturdy. Man, this is the only thing that worries me as far as the sturdy part. But I'm pretty sure once I'm done with it, it'll hold its form, as long as he's not too abusive with it. Everything I've made for him so far, I mean, I'm not saying he's abusive. He's a little kid. Little kids like to bang stuff around and crash. I mean, you've seen the crash derby stuff. He doesn't understand this is a one-of-a-kind sculpture that's taken forever to build. But that said, hey, man, once it's his, it's his. I'm just making it for him because I'm his uncle and he's my nephew. And whatever he wants to do with it, he can do it. He wants to light it on fire, sticks firecrackers up its butt. That's up to him. I'm sure he'll regret it later in life. Hopefully. But, you know, that's that. That's how life is. You know, maybe he'll take care of it and this will be some kind of weird collector's item. I don't know. If you do like Zelda stuff and you're just checking this out live, I've had a few Zelda builds. I'm working on a couple more. I'm doing I forget what they're called, sand lions. Doing one of those. I'm doing I did Kilton, the NPC Kilton. I'm doing his shop soon. Yeah, regret. I have no regrets. Really? Not even one little letter? Love that movie. But yeah, once this puppy's done, I'll be working on the Kilton shop, the one with the balloon. If you want to go look that up, you'll get an idea what I'm talking about. That's going to be pretty big. That'll be probably a foot and a half tall. And that one, I'm integrating a nightlight. I don't know that I'll do a plug-in, maybe battery operated, because I don't like dealing with direct current. Yeah, so I'll put a battery in there with a little purple nightlight where the globe is. If you don't know what I'm talking about, again, look it up. And then he can have some place to put his little Kilton figure. And then what else am I building for him? Oh, he wants a Godzilla. That'll be different. And I think he said he wanted a Shin Godzilla. I'm like, where did you see Shin Godzilla? You're 7. But whatever. Probably little kids at school talk about Godzilla. I don't think he's ever seen a Godzilla movie, to be honest. But yeah, speaking of, Toho just released a new Godzilla -1. Man, if you have not seen that, ooh, I'm dying to. I mean, it's out at the theaters now. I'm not one to go to theaters these days, but I might risk death to go do that, just for Godzilla. But if I do, I'm not saying I will. Not saying I will, but if I do sculpt a Godzilla, I'm gonna do it right. It's gonna make this guy look like, well, basically imagine him standing up. I will make a Godzilla that is, I don't know, maybe that tall, 2 feet, 3 feet. I don't know. I could do it. Oh, shoot. Yeah, see, I can't do that. See, this is my problem as I start thinking about other projects before I'm even done with the first ones. I still have to make the Pochita figure with the working chainsaw from Chainsaw Man, the little dog. I'm working on that. I've been disassembling. I got the chainsaw right up there. See it? That's it right there. There's a chainsaw. I've been taking that apart, working out how I'm going to put the chainsaw in there and how I'm going to build a little dog out. I already got a plan. Here's some teeth I was making for this guy. Some little sharp teeth, but I might end up using those for something else. But yeah, I'm just wrapping up. I'm just shooting the breeze now. I'm not working on this guy anymore. He's gonna dry overnight, and I'll mess with him tomorrow. The other thing about detail, like if I wanted to put wrinkles in here, I have to sculpt the wrinkles in with very, very small amounts of foam clay, or I could take my hot iron, my soldering iron, and burn them in, and then smooth them out with a little sandpaper or paint, filler, whatever. The other thing I can do is use my Dremel and use a very small sanding bit and just carve it in. So there's a lot of options there for detail. But yeah, not one of those materials that is super user friendly. You really have to get used to using it and understand that it's all about the process, because the end result I think looks good. That's just my personal opinion, but getting there, it can be a bit of a struggle, especially if you're doing something so huge. My tea's empty. What time is it? I've been doing this for almost 2 hours now. Does Milliput stick to it? I mean, if you want to know if that's the case, go find yourself a little piece of EVA foam. If you don't have any, you can probably find it in an old some packaging material. If you have any electronics or any tools that have ever come with little pieces of EVA foam, I see it all the time, and my wife tries to throw it away, and I'm like, give me that. because sometimes they're really nice, thick, chunky pieces with interesting shapes, and I know I can use them. But if you're interested in Milliput, if it sticks to this, I think it would stick to it. I don't think it would hold because this is so flexible, and Milliput is not. If you're going to put anything on this, it's got to be flexible. Yeah. If you're sculpting buildings with it and you're carving stuff into this, because this is very, I mean, when I say carving stuff into it, I'm not joking. I mean, you can just take this and you can make textures in this, right? I've made pieces that look like wood out of just chunks of foam. Or you can make it look like metal or anything else. But as soon as you put something solid on here, you better make sure that it's either super glued down. And even then, that super glue, as soon as it'll soak in, it'll hold whatever you put on it. But the second this has any kind of flex, it's going to pop off, right? Yeah. So I would say no. I'm gonna say anything brittle is probably a no go on this. Now, one idea I had, and I really have to experiment with it before I do it, is I was gonna try this. This is a putty. It's a sealant, obviously. It comes in brown. It comes in different colors. This one's brown. I was gonna coat the entire surface of this with this material, and then roll my texture for its skin over it to get all the little incidental beads and stuff. I don't know if that'll work, so I'm gonna have to experiment with that. And I don't know how long term it will work. So it's kind of a risk I'm taking trying that, because I already know what does work long term, and if this did, that would be awesome, because this would save me so much time. But yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. We'll find out together. I'll probably try it on some like a little piece like the one I just dropped. What I'll end up doing is I'm gonna get like some kind of little spur. I forget what the little spiky rollers are. Might just poke it with a bunch of needles to get some indentation on this, to have this soak and kind of cling into it. You know what I mean? So if you imagine like if it's a smooth surface and then you're putting this goo on top of it, it's just laying on top of a smooth surface. There is a texture to this, but it's very minimal. If I take the same texture and I gouge a bunch of these little grooves into it, then when this stuff goes on, it's going to fill in those grooves and it's going to kind of take root. So that means when it has to move, it's going to have some sort of support underneath it that's adhered to it. So we'll see. We'll try it. It's all about experimentation. I love trying out new stuff. To my knowledge, and I'm not joking, I'm not trying to be brash or anything or boastful, but to my knowledge, no one else does this. There is no one on the planet that sculpts figures or creatures with foam, EVA foam and foam clay. There's cosplayers that make really awesome props, but I've never seen anyone sculpt a character like I've been doing with the EVA and the mix of foam clay. So I don't know. Maybe someone at Weta does. They do everything there, right? But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking, call it a night, and we'll talk to you later. And if anybody else sees this, like and subscribe, as they say. Later. See you, Ezra.